YouTube, Andrew Darling again. Hey guys, I want to give you my quick initial thoughts on the Galaxy S5 I picked up yesterday morning. So I've had it for getting close to a day and a half now. I've had an opportunity to really play with it. Hadn't had a chance yet to truly test out the battery or the camera. Preliminary battery stuff, sketchy on and off. I've got a lot of the Android system working. I don't know if it's just doing everything it needs to do to sync everything that I've put on it. If that's causing something, but the battery doesn't seem to be maximizing its full abilities. As you can see, I got the system as well as the OS. If I can get it to focus in here, of course it won't. But you guys can pretty much tell what's going on here. So I'm gonna look at that, see if I just need to find some more stuff to turn off. We got about 2 hours of screen on time. I'm at 45%. This seems about average. Doesn't seem to be as good as what everything should be. Overall, the weight and the build of the phone I really like. I like this backing. You can kind of tell the dimpled effect. Golf ball Nexus 7 2013-esque. Or is it 2012? Probably 2012. But very nice, very tactile feel. If you can see here as well, you actually have a very raised camera spot here. So I can get it to focus in on that. But the camera spot is very raised, and then behind it you have that heart rate monitor, which is kind of a cool gimmicky feature. It's both cool and gimmicky. But that raise there, it actually feels similar to the back on the G2. I had that T-Mobile variant for a while. I really like the G2, but it's time for something new. The settings menu. I know we've seen the fully extended settings menu is pretty crazy. If you leave it here in the grid view, you can actually, if you see here, I've shrunk some of the menus, so you can press it and it'll bring the menu up. You bring it open when you need it. That's probably the easiest way I found. They have a tabbed menu where it's tabbed across the top. This is the tabbed view, and you have the stuff kind of up here on the side, which I didn't like. I didn't think that was very useful. And then if you put it in the list view, you can't minimize anything. So it's going to be a super long settings menu. So I leave it in the grid view. Works for me. I don't like or dislike the settings menu. I think it's completely overdone. I don't think it needs to be that large. You can make it so much simpler, but I'm not Samsung. So removable back, always a positive in a phone. Especially, we've seen so many reports about such a great battery life. I'll talk about that in a second. So you have your SD card up here, as well as your SIM card, 2800 milliamp hour battery. I'm sure that's going to lead to, and then you can kind of see that excessive camera hump again. Shows up there for you a little bit. So, but the battery, I'm sure there'll be extended batteries for it, even though we've seen reports of extremely amazing battery life, which I hadn't received yet, as you could tell. The camera, though, I've been pretty surprised with the camera. I've taken a few photos, most of which, just of my kids and my wife. But, I mean, the photos are pretty clear. They're pretty easy. They process pretty quickly. I mean, that's just sitting in the car. Obviously, it's on a screen, but I mean, it's a very quick picture of my daughter trying to eat ice cream, and I'm pretty sure it's not gonna. It did focus. Okay, so you can tell. I mean, that's a pretty clear picture. That's not in that HDR mode or anything like that. It's just a pretty quick picture. I'm gonna do quite a bit more messing around with the camera, so we'll kind of go from there with that. Like I said, battery life for me has been very sporadic. I don't doubt that it'll get better once everything kind of figures out what it's doing and it's got everything synced up, so it's not pulling everything down from the cloud over and over again. I'm assuming that's part of it. The other cool thing that I wasn't going to talk about, but I will real quickly, is it's already set up to OK Google. So you have that going for it. I can turn that off too, doesn't really matter. But so far, those are my initial thoughts. The weight and the build and the screen of the phone is amazing. I really, really like the screen of the phone. I have a very minimal setup right now. I'm still using the TouchWiz launcher. Didn't really download Nova or anything yet. I normally use Nova, but I'm just kind of trying to get a feel for it, kind of how the average consumer would. The settings menu, good, bad, ugly, too much, too little. It's a settings menu. Figure it out. I mean, you're going to need to be there at some point, so just figure it out. The removable back is always pretty cool. The setup with any device, Samsung, HTC, doesn't matter. The setup's pretty easy. The camera so far has been good. I mean, I've been very, very impressed with it so far. I haven't done a whole lot of different scenarios as far as types of photo taking, you know, landscape, different lighting, anything like that. But just the quick photos I've done have turned out really, really well. And battery, like I said, has been sporadic. Hopefully I'll get to play with it a little bit more. I did put it on the ultra battery saving mode yesterday where it goes grayscale for a little while. I can definitely see myself doing that at night while it's charging, because it's essentially turning off data. So the only thing that it's doing is allowing your phone to receive phone calls and text messages, which that's actually perfect for at night. If anybody calls or texts you, you'll still get it if you leave your volume up, but you won't get any emails, any Facebook, any Google Plus, nothing like that, unless you go into the app specifically and refresh it. So those are my initial thoughts on the Samsung Galaxy S5. Boatloads of fun so far. I am definitely trying to get used to the multi-window being over here, or recent apps instead of the menu button. But a really cool thing that I did learn is if you press and hold, you'll actually get a menu button function. So it's still there. It's just not as easy as it used to be. And I know that follows the Android guidelines a little bit better. So what do you guys think? Did you pick up an S5? What are some features you want me to take a look at? I'm definitely going to try and do a little bit more in-depth review of this phone since I got a little bit of time on my hands, but that's a whole nother story. So YouTube, I appreciate it. We will talk to you soon, and this has been Andrew Darling. Like and subscribe, one of these sides. I'm not sure which one it is, but I appreciate it, and if you don't, ain't nobody got time for that.